Hey everyone, and welcome back to Book Peer. I'm Paul.
And I'm Alice.
So glad you could join us today as we get into this book that's been a bestseller for it seems like forever, and it's amazing how relevant it still is even after all these years.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how much this book still holds up.
Before we get too far, don't forget to like the episode and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the fun book discussions.
Right, we're talking about How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
It's all about building relationships and, getting people on your side, which, I mean, let's be real, who couldn't use a little bit of help with that?
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
whether you're trying to nail that job interview or get your friends excited about a project or even just convince your little brother to clean his room.
Yeah.
Those people skills can really come in handy.
They really can. I mean, it's like a superpower.
Totally. And Carnegie lays out some really solid principles. And he starts by saying that one of the biggest mistakes we make is criticizing or complaining too much. And that actually triggers a kind of fight or flight response in people.
Oh, yeah, that makes total sense when you think about it. Like when someone criticizes, you instantly get defensive. It's like your brain's trying to protect itself.
Exactly. So instead of trying to change people by pointing out all their flaws, Carnegie's like, hey, focus on the positive. Genuine appreciation can go a long way because everyone wants to feel valued, right?
Absolutely. Like, remember when you aced that math test and your mom was so proud?
Yeah.
It totally made you want to study even harder, didn't it?
Exactly. And it's not about being all fake and flattering. It's about acknowledging the good stuff and encouraging people to keep doing awesome things. And guess what? This works even when someone messes up.
Wait, seriously? You're telling me I shouldn't give my buddy a hard time if he, spills coffee all over my new shoes?
Not exactly. Think about it this way. Let's say you're running a company and one of your employees makes a mistake. A costly one. Yelling at them is just going to make them shut down.
Yeah.
But if you say something like, hey, I know this was a tough situation, but I really appreciate how you've handled it. Let's figure out what we can learn from this and do even better next time.
Okay, yeah, I see your point there.
Mm-hmm.
A little encouragement can make a big difference, especially if you want to get someone on board with something.
Right. And that leads us to Carnegie's third technique, which is understanding what the other person wants. It's like, let's say you're trying to convince your parents to let you go to a concert.
Oh, I've been there.
Instead of launching into all the reasons why you should go figure out what their concerns are. Like maybe they're worried about you getting home late, or maybe they're worried about the cost of the tickets.
Parents always have something to worry about.
Exactly. So if you can address those concerns and show them how going to the concert could actually benefit them, like, hey, I'll study extra hard to make up for the cost of the ticket, you're way more likely to win them over.
That's actually pretty brilliant. It's like instead of fighting against their objections, you're using them to your advantage.
Right. It's all about finding common ground and framing your ideas in a way that everyone feels good about it.
I like it. This is like next level stuff. Don't forget to like the episode and subscribe to Book Peer. We've got more awesome tips coming up, so stay tuned.
Totally. Up next, Carnegie dives into 6 ways to make people like you instantly. These are like little hacks for building rapport, and it all starts with genuine interest. Not just pretending to listen, but actually caring about what the other person has to say.
So put down your phone, make eye contact, and actually listen to your friend rant about their day.
That's a great start. Ask questions, show you're engaged. People can tell when you're faking it, so just be real.
Okay. Genuine interest. Got it. What else?
This one's simple but powerful smile. A genuine smile is like a universal welcome sign. It makes you approachable, puts people at ease. It's like saying, hey, I'm happy to see you, without even saying a word.
I can definitely see that.
Mm-hmm.
A smile can totally change the whole vibe of a conversation.
What?
And it's contagious, too.
Exactly. And here's another easy one. Remember people's names. Think about it. How good does it feel when someone remembers your name? It makes you feel seen and like you matter.
Oh, yeah. I'm terrible with names. But when someone remembers mine, it instantly makes me like them more.
Right. It shows they were paying attention and that you're important to them. It's a small detail, but it makes a huge difference. And this next one kind of goes hand in hand with remembering names. Be a good listener.
Wait, you mean I actually have to listen to what people are saying?
Yeah.
Not just wait for my turn to talk?
You got it. Encourage people to open up, ask follow-up questions, and really try to understand their perspective. It's all about making them feel heard.
So less me, and more them.
Exactly. And when you show genuine interest in other people, guess what? They're more likely to be interested in you too.
Okay, so we've got genuine interest, a killer smile, remembering names, and being a good listener. What's next on this list of people-pleasing tactics?
Well, Carnegie says talk in terms of the other person's interests. Find that common ground, even if it's something you don't personally find fascinating. Like, let's say your coworker is obsessed with collecting stamps. You might not care about stamps at all, but asking them about their collection shows that you're interested in what's important to them.
So even if I'm secretly bored out of my mind, I should act like I'm super into stamps.
You don't have to fake it, but showing a little curiosity goes a long way. It's about making the other person feel comfortable and valued. And finally, Carnegie says, to make the other person feel important. We all have this deep down desire to feel significant, right?
Oh yeah, everyone wants to feel like they matter.
Exactly. So acknowledge their accomplishments, show genuine appreciation for their skills and talents, and make them feel like their presence in your life is valuable.
Wow, this is a lot to take in, but it makes so much sense. It's like a recipe for building stronger relationships.
It really is. And remember, these principles are all about being authentic and genuine. It's not about manipulating people. It's about connecting with them on a real level. What do you think? Anything to add before we move on?
I think this is all super helpful.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be putting some of these tips into practice. And hey, if you're enjoying this conversation so far, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, Book Peer. Let us know in the comments which of these techniques you're most excited to try. We'll be back soon with more from How to Win Friends and Influence People. Stay tuned. All right, so we're back, and now we're getting into the good stuff, like how to actually get people to see things your way.
Yeah, this is where things get interesting. Carnegie kicks it off by saying we should avoid arguments.
Hold on. You're saying I should defend my amazing ideas with like a passionate debate?
Well, think about it. Have you ever actually changed someone's mind by arguing with them?
I don't know, actually.
Most of the time, arguments just make people dig in their heels even more, you know?
Yeah.
They get defensive and stop listening.
Yeah, I guess I've been guilty of that myself. Sometimes I get so caught up in being right that I forget to like actually hear what the other person's saying.
It happens to everyone. Instead of trying to win the argument, try to see where the other person's coming from. Maybe they have a point, even if you don't totally agree with it.
So it's about finding that common ground even when you're disagreeing.
Exactly. And building on that, Carnegie says to always respect the other person's opinions. Like, never tell them they're wrong, even if you think they are.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Sometimes it's so tempting to just be like, nope, you're wrong. Especially when you know you're right.
I know it's hard. But instead of pointing fingers, try to understand how they came to their conclusion. You know, everyone has their own experiences and beliefs that shape how they see things.
Okay, so maybe instead of saying you're wrong, I could see something like, hey, I see things a little differently and here's why.
Now you're getting it. It shows you're acknowledging their viewpoint while still expressing your own. And sometimes you might even realize that you were the one who was wrong all along.
Oh yeah, that's definitely happened to me before. So what happens if I'm the one who messed up?
Hmm.
What does Carnegie say to do then?
He's got you covered. He says if you're wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Don't try to make excuses or blame someone else. Owning up to your mistakes shows you're honest and humble.
Whew, that one hits close to home. I definitely struggle with admitting when I'm wrong, but I can see how it would build trust in the long run.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. It stings for a second, but then it's over and done with.
True. Okay, so I've admitted I made a mistake. Now what? How do we get the conversation back on track?
Carnegie suggests starting in a friendly way. Approach the situation with a positive attitude and like genuine warmth, even if you're feeling frustrated.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to listen to someone who's being all grumpy and aggressive.
right. It's about creating a space for like open and honest conversation.
Yeah.
And here's a cool trick. Get the other person saying yes, yes, right away.
Wait, how do I do that? Do I have to bribe them or something?
Not quite. Start by finding points of agreement, build momentum by focusing on the things you both agree on before you dive into this stuff where you disagree.
So it's like finding that common ground again, starting with the yeses and then working towards the maybes.
Exactly. And speaking of getting people to say yes, Carnegie has another interesting suggestion. Let the other person do a lot of the talking.
Hold up. You're telling me I should just sit there and let them go on, even if they're totally wrong?
Not exactly. It's about active listening, you know? Ask thoughtful questions, encourage them to share their thoughts and feelings. When you give someone space to express themselves fully, they feel heard and respected.
Yeah, that makes sense. It shows that you're actually interested in what they have to say, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
And honestly, you might be surprised by what you learn.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these principles connect. It's like each one builds on the last.
Exactly. And here's another piece of the puzzle. Let the other person feel like the idea is theirs. People are way more likely to support an idea if they feel like they came up with it themselves.
So it's like I'm planting the seed and letting them water it with their own thoughts and ideas.
Perfect analogy. It's about nurturing the idea, not dictating it.
I like that. So it's not about forcing your ideas on people. It's about guiding them towards a solution.
Exactly. And speaking of guiding, this next principle is all about seeing things from the other person's point of view. Try to understand their perspective, their motivations, their fears, their desires.
It's like putting yourself in their shoes, walking a mile in their moccasins, seeing the world through their eyes. All those empathy cliches.
Exactly. When you can truly understand where someone's coming from, you can communicate with them on a much deeper level.
And that deeper understanding can help you find ways to connect, even if you disagree on the surface. This is gold. Don't forget to like this episode and subscribe to Book Peer. What else does Carnegie have up his sleeve?
Well, he reminds us to appeal to nobler motives. Everyone wants to feel like they're doing the right thing. So if you can connect your idea to their values and aspirations, they're more likely to get on board.
So it's about finding that shared purpose, that common goal that inspires people to take action.
You got it. And to really hammer home your point, Carnegie says to dramatize your ideas. Don't just present boring facts and figures. Tell a story. Use vivid imagery. Make your idea come to life.
Now that's a great tip. Everyone loves a good story. It's like those epic tales they used to tell around the campfire.
Exactly. Stories have a way of capturing our imagination and staying with us long after the facts have faded.
Okay, I'm ready for the grand finale. What's the last principle on this list of persuasion techniques?
Carnegie says to throw down a challenge. People love to rise to the occasion, to prove their worth, to test their limits. So if you can present your request as a challenge, they'll be more motivated to take action.
It's like saying, I believe in you, I know you can do this. And who doesn't want to hear that?
Exactly. It's a powerful way to inspire action and tap into that desire to achieve. So there you have it. 12 principles for winning people to your way of thinking.
Wow, that's a lot to process, but it's also insightful.
It's a blueprint for building influence and creating positive change.
Time to put these principles into practice. All right, so here we are wrapping up our deep dive into how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah, it's amazing how much ground we covered, from dealing with criticism to mastering the art of persuasion. It's all in here.
It really is. I feel like I've learned so much about connecting with people on a deeper level.
Me too. And before we sign off, what are some key takeaways you'd want our listeners to remember?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that this book isn't about tricks or manipulating people. It's about building genuine connections with them.
Exactly. It's about becoming more empathetic, more understanding, more respectful in all our interactions.
Right. It's like upgrading your relationship game.
And don't forget, these principles are skills just like anything else. It takes practice to master them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So don't get discouraged if you don't get it perfect right away. Just keep practicing, keep experimenting, keep those conversations flowing.
And most importantly, have fun. Building relationships shouldn't feel like a chore,
Totally. It should be enjoyable. All right, so we've shared our thoughts. Now we want to hear from you.
Yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like it and subscribe to Book Peer for more awesome book discussions.
And hey, leave a comment below telling us about a time when you successfully used one of Carnegie's principles. We love hearing your stories.
As you go about your day, we challenge you to think about this. How can you use one of these principles to make a positive impact on someone's life today?
It could be something small, like offering a genuine compliment or remembering someone's name, or just really listening to a friend who needs to vent.
Remember, every interaction is a chance to make the world a little bit brighter, to build stronger connections.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh.
So until next time, keep reading, keep learning, and keep connecting.
See ya.